So we talked a lot in passing about September 21st at Wembley. Let's get some preview / predictions out of you before I let you go. We'll build up to the main event. So a fight that's captured a lot of people's imagination and certainly seems like it's going to be action-packed is Anthony Kakachi against Josh Warrington. Kind of an unsung hero against someone who's been there and done it and maybe slightly on the downslide. We'll wait and see. But what do you make of that fight?
I think it's a really good fight. Crash, bang, wallop. It's a brilliant fight. Josh Warrington's never in a boring fight, is he? Underappreciated guy, Josh Warrington. I mean, people don't say, oh, he lost against Lee Wood, but he was ahead on the cards in that fight. He lost against that
Lopez.
That was a really close fight, by the way. That was a really, really close fight. He won the second. He lost the first half, but he won the second half of that fight. Who else did Warrington hit? He got knocked out, didn't he, by Mauricio Lara. But Josh Warrington's still fit. He's still strong. I think he's above weight, isn't it? So like it's he's. I have a feeling that Josh Warrington could win that fight.
Okay, interesting. And there's two big middleweight fights on the show. One of which could easily have taken place at Super Welter a couple of years ago. Between Josh Kelly and Liam Smith. First of all, before we talk about the result, what do you make of Josh Kelly, #1 in the world with one of the governing bodies at 154, kind of risking that standing, I suppose, going up to middleweight against Liam Smith?
Because it's a great opportunity. The National Stadium, Liam Smith's a former world champion, big name, big profile, coming off 2 big fights against Eubank on pay-per-view. This is Josh Kelly's moment, isn't it? This is his moment. We didn't see the best of Liam Smith in the last fight. I mean, Eubank deserved a lot of credit, but that wasn't the Liam Smith that we know in that fight. And anyone's stupid if they think otherwise. Liam Smith was, I believe, was just fighting to make weight in that fight, and probably shouldn't have really boxed. But as I say, it's going to be a fantastic fight, especially if we see Liam Smith back to his brilliant best.
It's quite a step up for Josh Kelly, given the opposition since Avanesian.
This is Josh Kelly's. You can't compare Avanesian and Liam Smith. Liam Smith's a 2-time world champion and boxed.
Oh no, sure, but the time he fought him as well, Kelly was a much more
the time he fought. But this is by far Josh Kelly's biggest test against Liam Smith. It's the best opponent he's boxed by miles.
All right, well, I'm going to let you off not giving a prediction for that one, as long as you do give one for the last 2. Hamza Sheeraz, obviously Tyler Denny. Strange one in that Hamza Sheeraz, I think, is #1 with 2 governing bodies.
Oh no! If you want my prediction, I think Liam Smith's got to be a favourite in that fight. Liam Smith's the favourite, just off experience. Josh Kelly is a phenomenal talent, and that's why I'm really intrigued into the fight. I like Josh Kelly a lot as well, but it's a hard fight. If Liam Smith is the Liam Smith we know, that's a hard night for Josh Kelly. But yeah, moving on to the Hamza Sheeraz fight against Tyler Denny, I think Hamza Sheeraz wins that fight. I think he's on fire at the moment. I think he's got brilliant backing. He's a huge middleweight as well. He was a huge. Remember when he was at 154 as well? Like, he's a massive middleweight. He's got a brilliant jab. And yeah, I think how can you not wish someone like Tyler Denny well as well, though? What a story he's had. So like, you wish him all the best, but you're asking me for my opinion on who I think is going to win. I think Hamza Sheeraz wins the fight.
And Sheeraz is world #1 with a couple of bodies. How much chance do you give him against Janibek if that were to happen after Denny?
Yeah, I think I give Hamza Sheeraz a chance of beating anybody at middleweight, just if his sheer size. But he's coming on, like he's looking better each fight, isn't he? I thought he was outstanding in not the last one. He was very good in the last fight, but I thought his performance against the Ukrainian, the fight before, he was magnificent in that fight. Do you know what I'm talking about? The one on the Usyk undercard, Usyk Dubois undercard.
Oh, Mitrofanov, I think his name was.
Hamza Sheeraz.
That one out of the bag.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had a feeling what his name was, but I didn't want to disrespect his name like that.
In Poland, that one.
In Poland, that was it.
Yeah.
I thought he was brilliant in that fight. So yeah, I think Hamza Sheeraz is got to be the favourite against Tyler Denny. But when you're as confident and you're on the run like Tyler Denny is, he's going to take some beating as well. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
And in the main event, it seems the camps are taking very different approaches in the sense that we've heard from Ben Davison. I mean, not us personally, but he has been in the media in the build-up. We've spoken to at least 2 Joshua sparring partners who are all saying the same sort of thing. You know, he's more aggressive than he was before because a lot of them have sparred him in the past. Ben Davison's brought more out of him. Full credit to him. And then you've got the Dubois side. Don Charles hasn't said a word. Kieran Farrell, his dad, not hearing anything from them about who he's sparring, how he's looking.
That's good. That's good. Because when Dubois boxed Joe Joyce, I knew everything about his sparring. He was sparring my
I remember
fighters.
you
Like
saying.
it was like terrible. Like that. So Don Charles is an experienced man, and he's getting the best out of Daniel Dubois. I mean, the addition of Kieran Farrell as well, like fair play to him as well, like fair play to the whole setup there, because Daniel Dubois, yeah, listen, he can't take the shots he took against Hrgovic because he will get knocked out if he does that against someone, if he punches on as AJ. But I'm talking about the confidence of Daniel Dubois. The confidence we've seen in Daniel Dubois, the change was the Miller fight, the change in the Miller fight. Like, because he had many times where could have got difficult in there with Jarrell Miller. We saw it, like we thought, oof, could Daniel like not quit, but like and we saw him come through it. And we saw him come through it, and then he's kind of come of age, hasn't he? He's kind of come of age, especially in the Hrgovic fight. That was a massive win. And he deserved to win the IBF belt off the back of that. That deserved to be for the vacant belt because he's currently the world heavyweight champion, isn't he, of the IBF? But you don't really, people won't really think he's of that. Do you understand what I mean? They won't think much of that. That should have been his moment where he beat Hrgovic there, because he was brilliant, because he took some big shots. He was brave, he was tenacious, and he let his hands go. And like, listen, I'll say it all day long. The job Frank Warren's done with Daniel Dubois is nothing short of incredible. He's one of the best promoted fighters of all time. And fair play, because they're getting their rewards now, and he's got the biggest fight of one of the biggest fights of ever, isn't it? At the Wembley Stadium, it's going to be 100,000 people. And Daniel Dubois is a live dog in that fight. I'm not going to say I think he's going to win, because I think AJ's the favourite, especially the form AJ's on. But Daniel Dubois is a live dog in that fight. And I think it's a 6-round shootout of a fight.
What do you think's been the more beneficial trainer change? Dubois switching to Don Charles or AJ switching to Ben Davison?
It's hard to say, because both of them have been brilliant. Both of them have been absolutely brilliant. So, I mean, AJ, everyone was saying was finished. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was saying was finished. And I remember when I'm sure I did the interview with you, where I said Ben Davison is a better trainer for Anthony Joshua than
Derek James.
Derek James. And I got loads of stick for saying that. But I'm saying the way Ben Davison and Lee Wiley break things down is what Anthony Joshua likes, like going through everything, like Lee's there, like studying the fights and telling AJ, this is what everything's kind of scientifically broken down in that gym. And I'm not going to say, I always knew, but I did think it was always going to be beneficial if AJ went to Ben as a trainer, because evidently Ben's bringing the best out of AJ. He's not changed much of AJ, but he's kind of brought him back to what he was, which was a fucking killer, which is what AJ's known for. Do you know what I mean? A big punching, devastating puncher, aggressive. Because AJ is not what... When Vladimir Klitschko got knocked out earlier on in his career, he kind of... Manny Stewart brought him back, didn't he? It was like got him back to being a back foot boxer. AJ isn't that guy. AJ is a devastating puncher and on the front foot, and that's what made him so feared and so amazing to watch. And then he went through that period, that little dip, and then we move on to Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, listen, people just used to go, he's nothing. Like he got beat by Joyce, he quit. Like that's what people were saying. And even though, listen, I've always been the first to have been say back whatever about Dubois, but I said, if you get back my old interview, I said when Joe beat Daniel Dubois could still go on to become world heavyweight champion and have a better career, a bigger career than Joe Joyce, because time's on his side. And Daniel Dubois is on the run of his life right now, and you'd be a silly man to rule him out of the fight. I think AJ is going to win before anyone says, "Wow, what's he talking about?" I still think AJ is going to win, but I think Daniel Dubois will have his moments in there, especially if Don Charles tells him to go out there and let his hands go, because Daniel Dubois is a huge puncher himself.